Once a month or so, we invite travel journalist, photographer Randall Shirley to share his wealth of travel tips and vast knowledge of places known and unknown. He has been traveling since he was 4 days old when he took his first airplane ride. It is my pleasure to welcome Randall Shirley back to Studio 4 to tell us more.
That's a pretty big or so this time, once a month or so. It's been 7 months since I stopped by.
Has it?
I've been so busy traveling that,
I wondered where you had been.
Well,
we missed you.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Well, obviously, you bought a new shirt.
Well, this shirt was
something.
purchased somewhere along the way. Maybe somewhere we're going to talk about today.
Probably because warm, we're thinking warm. With this beautiful weather, we're not thinking too warm, but by tomorrow when the rain returns.
By tomorrow, everyone will be on Travel Zoo or Kayak or some website looking for a deal, a way to get out of here, a way to find some warmth.
Right, buy a ticket to the Caymans or to the, the Antigua or the San Barts or perhaps to Hawaii.
Or perhaps to Hawaii. Yeah. And as we start to talk about Hawaii, the one thing I have to say when you're looking for how to get there, of course, we all think of flying out of YVR, and the folks at YVR will hate me for saying this, but if you do not look at Bellingham for every flight you take into the United States, whether it's to Hawaii or elsewhere in the United States, you're crazy. There have been some deals out of Bellingham on Alaska Airlines. They have a nonstop flight from Bellingham to Honolulu. Who would have ever thought we'd see that in our lifetime, at a little Bellingham? Yeah. Daily flight.
Kaboom.
Kaboom, yeah.
You're there.
And you're there.
But you have to cross the border and drive the car and leave the car someplace. And
super cheap parking at the Bellingham airport.
Okay, so that's easy.
So,
but getting across the border to make the flight?
Well, you plan for it, right?
Of course you do.
Depending on how many, if
you
you're
get
taking,
a Nexus card.
Yeah, do that. And if you're taking a family, it may actually be cheaper. Now, it's not always cheaper. Sometimes you'll find a really good fare out of YVR. Sure. But that Bellingham airport is quickly becoming, I think, a pretty substantial competitor to YVR. And I fly out of there very, very frequently on my other business travel in the United States, so people should be looking at it.
Okay, that's because you're frugal.
I am frugal.
Which is good.
I want my dollar to go a long way, and I can't see paying ridiculous taxes and fees when I don't have to.
I get it. So get it.
But
and you get free leg room. Maybe, if you work the system.
If you work the system. But my partner and I went to Hawaii in December, and the reason we took the trip, believe it or not, I have gold status on Alaska Airlines because I fly them so much on business in the United States. And I was a little bit short on keeping my status for this year. So I said, where can I go that's a lot of miles for not very much money? And I got a lot of miles by going to Hawaii and back. My ticket was just over $300 round trip, and people should know that Alaska Airlines round trip.
U.S.
Yeah, and this is just to Honolulu. But people should also know that with Alaska Airlines, their Canadian MasterCard that you can get through them, every year you get a $99 companion ticket that you can take another traveler anywhere Alaska Airlines flies. You buy your ticket at whatever price you can get it for. It could be a cheap ticket or an expensive ticket, anywhere that they fly, and for $99 you can take a friend. So my partner went with me for $99 to Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't call me, I guess. Maybe next year.
Well, I didn't want to call divorce court.
Well, that too. I'm taking Fanny, you're staying home.
Yeah, that wouldn't go over, especially to Hawaii.
You could have an issue.
Maybe when I'm going somewhere like Williston, North Dakota, where I was recently.
Fine.
If you want to go there, I was.
North Dakota, my territory.
Not far away, is it?
You're born in Idaho on a potato farm or something.
Yeah, and this time of year, a trip to Williston, North Dakota. Well, anyway, Hawaii. Let's go to Hawaii.
Let's go to Hawaii now and have a pancake or two.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, the island we went to this trip was Kauai. And it seems to be the little known side of Hawaii. Everybody knows Maui. Everybody loves Maui. Everybody has been to Honolulu, and people love it or hate it.
Right.
And they feel that way about Oahu in general. Kauai's tucked over there on the end of the world somewhere. And, you go there and you have a pineapple souffle pancake, like the photo just showed a minute ago.
We just saw, yum.
And I found Kauai to be the Hawaii that I think
that you
Hawaii
once
is.
Knew.
Or that I think
you
I
once knew.
Yeah.
Maybe you weren't born when Hawaii was like that, but Kauai, small, people nice, safe,
very.
More wind.
Yeah, I mean, the weather there's dicey. It rained a bit every day. It does have the wettest spot on Earth, a place where it rains pretty much.
We leave the wettest spot on Earth to go to the wettest spot on Earth, but it's warm wet.
But it's warm wet, and we had some beautiful weather also, and we had a little bit of everything.
So all the Hawaiian magic, really.
It is this little magic slice of Hawaii.
And the beach?
I wouldn't call Kauai the greatest beach destination. If you need beach, I don't think it's the right island.
Okay.
And I can't say that totally. We stayed in Poipu, which is on the south side of Kauai.
Right.
And Poipu Beach, lovely beach. Nice enough beach to swim on and play on and everything. But I've seen other nice beaches in the world. I think you go to Kauai to see the island and to experience that old Hawaii.
And what part of the island? Like, is
the
there a volcano or anything?
The majority of Kauai is still unreachable by road. It's still wild or plantation land or different things, but it's undeveloped. So the thing you go to see, really, the number one thing is the Nepali coast. And the Nepali coast is one of those places that when you arrive there, and we're looking at a picture of it now, rainbow and all, I mean, it was as if the gods of Hawaii just smiled on my camera that day.
No kidding.
When you arrive at the Nepali coast, you can only see it either from the air or from the sea. There's no road that takes you around there.
Is this the one they call the Garden Island?
Yes, it is the Garden Island.
Did you see The Descendants with
Well,
George Clooney?
And that's part of the reason I wanted to talk about it today.
That's where it's shot, I think.
Much of it is shot in Honolulu,
Some of it.
and part of it in Kauai. But the gist of the story is that his family
The descendants
are the descendants of this, who own this massive piece of land on Kauai, and they've been offered an ungodly amount of money to sell.
Yes, and they're arguing about it.
And they are arguing about it, and it's quite a movie. I saw it last weekend, and
it lingers with you, that movie. When you're in it, you're not sure, and when you leave, it lingers.
And it makes you think about your
movie.
own family and your own heritage and where you've come from. At least it did me.
Sure.
And whether
And
you
what
have
we value, what we truly value, and
Yeah.
is it about the money or is it about the land? Is it about our ancestors?
Yeah. And one of the things that you can do on Kauai that we particularly enjoyed, we went on an ATV tour, which it's not something I normally would book. It's not exactly a Randall activity.
I can't really see you and the partner on an ATV, but
it was suggested to us by the tourism people, so we said, what the heck, we'll try it.
Sure.
And we got filthy dirty, covered in mud, but they provide outfits for you. You take your own clothes off and wear theirs, so you get covered in their mud. And we went out through an old sugarcane plantation that is, this ATV company has access to it. It's owned by Steve Case of AOL fame, who reportedly paid something like $26 million for it back in 2001. And it's, I don't know how many 100 acres, but this really beautiful, unspoiled Kauai that someone like him has come in and said, we're going to hang on to this. We're not going to develop
fabulous.
it. I don't know what he's getting out of that other than his money gaining in value by holding on to it.
It sounds like my island, but I do like some taws. So, good restaurants?
Phenomenal food.
Phenomenal food.
We had everything from Kahlua pulled pork, the roasted pork that the Hawaiians make, off of a food truck at a farmer's market, which is a really great thing to do. And I suggest people do this wherever you're traveling these days. Farmers markets are all over, certainly all over North America. They're our modern version of what the old world street markets or daily markets were. Kauai had farmers markets going all the time, pretty much every day somewhere on the island. We had just a great time going and picking fresh passion fruit at the market, and pineapple and papaya, and here's a food truck selling a Hawaiian plate lunch. Look at that.
And it's
fruit.
good for us. Enzymes galore. Really good for us to start the day with that and end the day with
such magnificent tastes that we can't get very often here. And the fruit that we do get here, we certainly can get many things in our supermarkets here. But when you're eating fresh fruit that just was picked somewhere nearby, there's such a difference.
And you have to do that in Hawaii. It's just part of it. If you don't have a papaya a day, just not okay.
And I found on my previous trips to Hawaii, I didn't find the fresh fruit to be as abundant and accessible as I found it on Kauai. That was something that was very different there, just on the side of the road.
And
people
good
selling
fish
fruit.
And all of that entertainment.
We didn't do a lot of entertainment.
Not
it's
so much.
very laid back. It's not a nightlife island by any stretch.
It's romantic, it sounds.
Oh, you could just hold hands and go for a stroll any number of places there. Another great thing that must be seen on Kauai is a place called Waimea Canyon. Talk about romantic and beautiful. It's been called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific.
So it's Amalfi Coast-like, or That's a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it that.
No.
But it's this, I mean, it's the oldest of the Hawaiian Islands, and it's had time to erode. It's had time for Mother Nature to work magic on it and carve it into these magnificent
So the
landscapes.
smells and the flowers and the landscape.
Although something like 90%, I don't know the exact number, but very, very little of the fauna, or sorry, the flora, the plants that you see on Kauai are native. Almost everything has been wiped out that was native and has been replaced by exotic species over the years. So you think you're seeing true Hawaii.
Sure.
In fact, we've taken everything there.
Have you been to Molokai?
I've not been to Molokai.
I haven't either, but I hear that's a very interesting spot too.
Yeah.
So spas.
Had a great. This is a Fanny topic. You would enjoy an afternoon at the spa at the Grand Hyatt on Kauai. My partner and I had side-by-side lomi massages, which just sounds oh so exotic. Laying
Lomi.
Yeah, laying in that spot we were just looking at in the photo, with the doors open and the smells of the tropical plants blowing.
No wonder
in.
you look 10 years younger than the last time I
Don't
saw you
Don't
7 months
and there's
ago.
No Botox, no. It's
No
just
anything.
a lomi.
Just a lomi.
And some passion fruit.
Of course, the lomi glow, passion fruit, papaya, and that
Absolutely.
it could have been that ATV mud. Maybe that was it.
Yes, it could have been.
The mud bath.
And you can find out about everything that I've talked about on my website at 5faves.com. I've got links to all of this stuff for anyone who wants to go.
5faves.com and Outlooks magazine. You're the travel editor for Outlooks, and Lady Gaga on the cover.
She's on the
and
cover.
a little more Kauai wrapped in here.
There's more Kauai in there. There's some cruise content in there, and it's available at Little Sisters or wherever fine gay publications are available.
Okay.
You should be able to find it or ask for it.
Ooh. Well, we didn't get to Mexico.
We
so
didn't.
You'll have to come back.
I'll have to come back, but next time we have to talk about Italy. I spent a month in Italy last October, and we haven't talked about it yet.
A month?
A month. Sorry.
You're
sorry,
so
but I
spoiled.
did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Randall Shirley, traveling guy. Remember, you can catch all of our conversations on YouTube or follow us on Twitter at Fanny Studio 4.